Welcome to the Discover Montcalm podcast, where we're going to take a look at the communities, the businesses, the attractions, and the people that make up Montcalm County. Here is your podcast host, Dwayne Reed.
My name is Dwayne, and I'm the host and the producer of the Discover Montcalm podcast, and we want to welcome you today, and we're going to be talking to Jake VanBoxel. He is the city manager for the city of Stanton. And I love it when people wear shirts because if I forget, it's right there.
Right there.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
I understand that you took over as city manager in January of 2021.
Yep, that's correct.
So give us a real quick history of where were you prior? What brought you to this place that you became the city manager in 2021?
Sure. Previous to being in this position, I was in Howell, Michigan. I was working in the automotive industry as a program manager, mostly working on Ford programs such as the Bronco, the Ranger, the F-150. Prior to that, I was a village manager in Kingsley, Michigan, up in northern Michigan. And then, I went to Ferris State University, graduated there. I grew up.
Go Bulldogs.
Yeah, go Bulldogs. I grew up in Newaygo, Michigan.
Okay.
I had a lot of family living in Montcalm County growing up, so I spent a lot of time on Indian Lake, just north of Howard City, and then I spent a lot of time on Rainbow Lake in Truefant, growing up as a kid. So I knew the area pretty well, and when I saw the position, I figured, why not?
Coming back closer to home.
Yeah, definitely.
From where your roots started. What is the biggest challenge that you find in your position currently?
The biggest challenge I find in my position, there's so many, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's funding, lack of funding for certain projects, or dealing with unruly members of the public who are upset about things, or I think the biggest thing is the lack of buy-in or commitment from members of the public. Everybody will complain about something, but there are very few who actually choose to serve on boards and committees and volunteer. And it's so frustrating when it's the negative people that, where those few people we do have serving and have volunteering and doing those things. It's very frustrating to me to see that.
But 20% of the people do 80% of the work.
That's correct. Yeah.
And I've sat on a number of committees, and it's the same thing. So, you're not alone.
Yeah.
It's always, I guess it's part of life, whether we want to or not. Tell me a little bit about the city of Stanton.
Okay. Well, the city of Stanton's located in the heart of Montcalm County. It's a town of about 1,500 people. Mm-hmm. Small town USA,
Love it.
I love walking downtown, going to the businesses, seeing people, people wave to you, stop and ask you about your day. Mm-hmm. Between Stanton and Sheridan, there's Central Montcalm Public Schools, amazing school system. Working with them has been great. Stanton is the hub of social services for the county.
Yeah, because it's also the county seat.
Yeah. Yep.
It's also the county seat, so, that's a great place. As you said, it's the hub of the services. Central Montcalm is great. I have some students in my digital arts program at the Career Center from Central Montcalm. So, go Hornets.
Yeah.
We kind of get little rivalries going around the classroom sometimes. So that's always nice. You're right in the middle of a pretty big recreational project that's going on in the city of Stanton. Can you tell us about that?
Sure, yeah. So I was fortunate enough to come to Stanton, and there were these about a decade-long plan to build a 28.5-acre park, Veterans Memorial Park. The plans have changed so many times, but I think what we have right now is really special. The city was fortunate enough to receive a $300,000 grant from the state of Michigan, the Michigan DNR Trust Fund. So that helped us fund the gravel parking lot, the connector trail to the Fred Meyer Heartland Trail, bicycle kiosk station, the first ball field, and obviously all the earthwork that was related to that. But so that was phase one. We've had these side projects, as I like to call them, or our little side hustles. And that has been working with the Central Montcalm Community Foundation. We put up, and with the White Pine District Library, we put up these interpretive signs along the connector trail, which is a half a mile. But there's 22 of those signs, 2 of which are entrance signs at the beginning, so 20, and it's all based on Michigan wildlife.
So are you currently in phase 2 yet, or when does that propose to happen?
We're not in phase 2 yet. Still finishing up some of these side hustle projects that I've got going on. One that I've been spending a ton of time on recently, as you can tell, I'm covered in sawdust and cuts from thorns, dragging brush, that sort of thing, is the Big Chuck Disc Golf Course, which is a Stanton Rotary Club project. They raised the money with local business sponsorships, local business and nonprofits. So we raised the money. We hired a professional disc golf player, David McCormick. Okay. He is known for designing Eagles Crossing, which is known to some as the best disc golf course in America.
But you're going to try to beat that?
Yeah, of course I am.
Of course you are.
It's just the benchmark, you know?
Yeah, of course. You got to have something and you move up.
Yeah.
We hope you're enjoying our podcast, and we'll be back after we thank our sponsors. West Michigan Technology and Design Solutions, your IT and web hosting experts, westmichiganhelpdesk.com. And DW Video, your source for video production, websites, and your local videotape, slides, and 8mm film transfer specialist. dwvideo.com. Now, back to our interview.
Welcome back to Discover Montcalm. I'm here with the city manager of Stanton, Jake VanBoxel, and I have to pause when I say that because we've been laughing. I've been screwing up some things here, but that's okay. We're live and local, as they say. We've been talking about the parks and that. What is the short-term, long-term goal of the projects that you've got, the recreational side of things of what you're looking at doing?
Short-term is getting the disc golf course open, and I think by the time this airs in September or October, like you said, it will absolutely be open. It's going to be a lot of fun. Long-term, I'm waiting to hear back on a Michigan Economic Development Corporation grant to fund phase 2, which would allow us to pave the parking lot, pave the walking trail, build a multi-purpose pavilion that would have an ice skating rink for the winter months, the 3rd ball field, and then hopefully down the line I would like to add a public splash pad and an amphitheater to the
So
park.
really bring the community in, there'll be something for somebody.
Yes.
And, but we might have to wait a little bit as you go to put all that stuff together, which is just normal. Things do take time. What are some of the outdoor gems of the area around Stanton or even of Montcalm County that you like? What are some of the outdoor gems?
Oh, there's so many to choose from. I truly feel like outdoor recreation and the natural resources is an aspect of Montcalm County that is so overlooked. Whether that's Crystal Lake or the Pine River or the Stanton game area. I mean, there's Rainbow Lake, as I talked about earlier. I mean, there's just so much that this county has to offer and so underutilized and unknown.
But we do get a lot of people that, love to have their houses around the lake. People have second homes here. They end up retiring here because of the beauty of what is offered. You talked a little bit earlier before we went on here, and you kind of informed me on something that I didn't know about. I don't know how many people out there think about where is up north. When you're in different parts of Michigan, you think of up north as being, a tier based on where you're at. I jokingly said to you, and I do a lot of networking around Grand Rapids, and jokingly think that the people in Grand Rapids think that up north starts at the ball field.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, me growing up in this area, I've always thought of up north starting around Cadillac.
Yeah.
So, but you have a chart here, a little thing that we can discuss, and you're going to tell me where up north really starts when you look at Michigan.
Yeah.
So if you want to turn that around, I'm going to bring this camera in.
Sure thing.
And for those of you that are listening, you can tune into our YouTube channel. Go to Discover Montcalm Podcast. You can find us there, and you can actually witness what he's about to show us.
So what I'm showing you now, Dwayne, is the landscape ecology of Michigan. And so you're looking at section 6 and section 7. And I know a lot of people will say that up north starts at the bridge, or it starts at Cadillac, or it starts north of 10. But when we look at this, we can see where this runs through, and it comes through here, and it actually runs through Montcalm.
Now you're outlining what?
So I'm outlining the different sections,
Okay.
section 6 and section 7. And this, I think, more than anything, not just based on your feeling or what you grew up knowing, this is a different landscape topography and ecology. So I think this truly represents, the southern part of the state to the northern part of the state. And you can see that this runs right through Montcalm County.
So we are kind of the separation.
Kind of the gateway to the north.
Gateway to the north. And I've heard that term, but I didn't know that there was actually a reason for that, other than somebody just said, "Oh, I think we want to be the gateway to the north." I look at Pearson, and they talk about being halfway between the rapids.
Yeah.
Halfway between Big Rapids and Grand Rapids. So, there's a reason behind everything, and it's nice. And that's what I like about this podcast, is this is why I'm doing it. I want to learn more. So you're here from the city of Stanton, but now you're talking about the county, which is great, because we are all a bunch of little parts that make up a whole.
Yeah.
And we don't have borders around our county lines. We do go across, but Discover Montcalm is all about discovering things about Montcalm County. So you brought along some other drawings here.
Yeah.
Why don't we, I don't know if we want to jump back, or let's stay with this one. Why don't you bring this one and bring
Sure.
it around so that I can see it? And those of you that are listening, jump on our YouTube channel and Discover Montcalm Podcast, and you'll find this as well. So what do we have here?
So another unique aspect of Montcalm County is that the county is actually situated between two watersheds of the Great Lakes. The Pine River runs through the eastern side of Montcalm County, and that eventually runs into the Chippewa River, into the Saginaw River, out into the Saginaw Bay, which is a part of the Lake Huron watershed.
Okay.
You look at the Little Muskegon River, Tamarack Creek, the Flat River, all of these run into either the Muskegon River watershed or the Grand River watershed, which eventually goes out to Lake Michigan.
Okay.
Which so then is a part of the Lake Michigan watershed. So Montcalm County is situated in between both.
We were talking a little bit. We're going to jump back to the parks. If you want to get that other one
Yeah.
out here. We talked about the baseball fields. We talked about the Veterans Memorial. We talked about the parking lot. Well, let's bring this around. And we also talked about the disc golf course. So if you can kind of, I'll get the camera here. If you want to point to where things are at and kind of let our people know what we're looking at. Let's start right here, probably where they're going to come in.
So we'll start here on M66. Obviously we have the parking lot, but let's start right in the epicenter of the park. Everything is centrally located. So we have an outdoor fireplace situated here with a pavilion to the south, a playground next to it, restroom, monument for the veterans, and then 3 ball fields. Eventually we would like to see a public splash pad, and then maybe an amphitheater built off the back of this or off in here. And then obviously you have your connection trail out to the Fred Meyer Heartland Trail, but you also have an 18-hole double loop disc golf course.
This park idea is pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty expansive. It's going to take a little time to do it. When do you expect or hope that most of this will be all done?
Everything except for the splash pad, I would hope would be done within the next year or two.
Okay, so this is more of a, 1, 2, 3 year plan.
Yeah, I think the city's waited long enough. This has been a dream for nearly a decade, and I'm all in. The chips are all on the table.
Yeah.
We're all in on making this thing happen.
It's nice when a plan finally comes together.
Yeah.
We're talking with Jake, the city manager of Stanton. Since you've been here since 2021, January, what do you like best about your job and why?
Ooh.
You're going to throw a curveball.
That's a question I like. Well, there's so many things, really. I love that it's a small town. Again, I mentioned earlier, just walking downtown and people waving to you, talking with the business owners. But I really enjoy the projects and how that impacts people's lives. Just last year, we did a major storm sewer project. People near Save-A-Lot, I mean, their yards were getting flooded anytime we had heavy rain. And so now we built this detention pond, redone these storm sewer lines, and alleviated that problem.
And that just happens overnight, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, sometimes I think it's funny.
No, but to see the impact and what you're doing has an immediate impact. This park, for example, I mean, it's one of the things most needed in this county, and you can see this in the data that's collected by Montcalm Care Network, the United Way, Mid-Michigan Health Department, is just access to outdoor recreation.
And you're even looking at doing something in the winter with this.
Yeah.
You're looking at having an ice rink eventually,
rink.
Which would be great. And the trail, do they allow cross-country skiing on the trail?
Well, I would like to utilize the disc golf course as a cross-country skiing trail in the winter.
That makes sense.
It's all about extending the seasonality and
yeah. And you've got the land, you've got it laid out. Why wait?
Yeah.
Why wait? Keep it going. And then see how people utilize it. I can see some tournaments going on.
Mm-hmm.
Being a musician, I love the fact that you're talking about maybe a little amphitheater.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody likes their music in the parks or whatever they happen to call it. So there's always that growth. A question that I ask a lot of people when they come into this podcast is, if somebody was to ask you, why should someone discover Montcalm? How would you answer that?
Well, the way I look at it is you're just far enough outside of the big city, the hustle and bustle. Mm-hmm. Again, small town USA. You have a plethora of natural resources. You have a strong community, great schools. But you're also not too far from those bigger urban environments either. Mm-hmm. I chose to leave that to come here, mm-hmm. and I don't regret that decision at all.
We have a lot of natural resources, and over in your area, you have the Heartland Trail. We have the White Pine Trail over here. So there's a lot of places that people can go to enjoy this outdoor beauty. Mm-hmm. No matter what the season. We live in Michigan, so we do get winter. I don't know if this is an update for everybody out there. We live in Michigan, and we do get winter. It's how we utilize the winter. It's how we utilize things, to still utilize your golf course as cross country, and seeing all of that grow. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you'd like to bring up before we close out here today?
Well, I think building upon what you just said, utilizing outdoor, parks, that sort of thing in the winter, it's, layer up, stay active, mm-hmm. and think about, and this isn't even just in the winter, but outdoor recreation, parks and recreation, the benefits to physical and mental health, mm-hmm. especially coming out of this pandemic,
right?
Especially having a free place to exercise and just be active. What better use of time and money and energy is there than building public parks?
How can somebody find out some more information about Stanton?
Oh, you could visit our website, stantononline.com. You could take a look at our Facebook page, City of Stanton. You could give me a call, 989-831-4440, or shoot me an email, citymanager@stantononline.com.
It's great that we have Jake here, the city manager from Stanton, and thank you for sharing. Hopefully, as things go on, maybe we can have you back with an update in a year or so, and that way we can kind of keep the conversation going. My name's Dwayne, the host and producer of Discover Montcalm, and if you have a business a location, you have history that you would like to share with everybody in Montcalm County, that's what Discover Montcalm is all about. Shoot me a call, get on our Facebook page, our Instagram page. Just let us know, because we want to tell your story. So Jake, thank you so much for stopping in. And for the rest of you, remember to buy and shop locally.
Connect and subscribe to Discover Montcalm Podcast at discovermontcalmpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Discover Montcalm Podcast. To be featured in an upcoming show, contact Dwayne at 231-250-9624. Remember to subscribe at discovermontcalmpodcast.com.